Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner, and in this video I have for you guys some Yu-Gi-Oh content. As this past weekend I went to regionals in Winnipeg. As well, I had the choice to go to it. I did not actually expect to be able to go to one. I thought the one I went to before would be my last one for the format, but turns out I was wrong. I got to go to this one, and I said, you know what? Let's see what I can do. If I top, I top. If I don't, I don't. I wasn't going to go to nationals anyway, so I ended up going to it. It was actually a blast. I got to meet up with a lot of people I met at the last regionals. We all hung out a bit after the regionals, playing Cube and other silly things, and yeah, I made a lot of friends, and actually met another fellow Disaster Dragon player there, someone who had played the deck back then. He doesn't play it now, much like I don't, as we both feel it's just not the same, but that's besides the point, though. We both enjoy playing with dragons, and we just like talk silly combos and things that the deck does. And I picked up, a lot of things I was hoping to grab, like Galaxy Cyclones, Unexpected Dies. I could only find one Melody of Awakening Dragon for what I felt was a reasonable price. People were trying to sell them for $4 and $10. I'm like, nope, this is a $2 card, and I ain't paying any more than that. And I picked up Ultimate Athlete Core and the rest of the cards I need to finish off Heraldic Beasts, which was nice. And I grabbed a lot of Card by Vanguard cards that I did not expect to find there, but I did. So that was good to see. Like, I still need some more Jewel Knight cards for my Royal Paladins, but that's besides the point. Long story short is, though, I went to regionals, and I ended up finishing 11th, which was just short of the top again, which is disappointing. But this time around I played against some really quality players, like some of the best players in the room I got paired up against with, and I did well against them. Well, let's actually just get into this deck list, and I'll tell you a bit more about the tournament itself. A full, more detailed report will be on my blog, so just check that out. Link will be, of course, down below. And let's get started. So, the deck I played, of course, was Nekroz, as it's all I've got at the time. I don't plan on building anything new until after this week, as I'm going to be busy for the time being. I got a 9-day work stretch starting now. But yeah, I played Nekroz, blue cards. Why the hell not? It's not like I had anything else, and yada yada yada. Standard build, so I'm not going to explain too much here. You obviously have your standard cards, your multiples, Trishula, and then I decided to play Gungnir as I expected to see more destruction-based hate to my deck, and she did what she was supposed to. I also had heard prior to this that Cleave were going to be seeing much more play, and Gungnir is really good against that deck, so I wanted just a little bit of main board outs to it, in addition to her being good against some other decks like Rogue and Dolls to an extent, as it allows me to beat over Construct with Valkyris, which is relevant. For the non-rituals, 2 Shurets, and then the 6 Jews, my Jusenju. And then I ran the hand trap heavy build, as it did really well for me in the locals I had a couple weeks ago, and a few games I played with this deck online, so I stuck with it. Triple Veiler, 2 Maxi, and then I ran the Jin, of course. I only Jin locked just a couple times a day, and they were the 2 times where I drew. Yeah, they were every time I Jin locked, it was because I drew this thing. When I had Lava Volchain, I never really went for that Jin lock play. I always felt like I could just do some other things with the chain, like stack a Menju, send a Galaxy Cyclone to graveyard, or send a Valkyris to graveyard, then cycle it back. For spells, double MST, I feel like this should be main boarded right now in the deck, as anything that's not Nekroz will be playing some kind of hate for it, and I know it's bad against the mirror, I admit that, and there was actually a fair amount of the mirror present, but it could still, at worst, potentially hit any of those main decked emptinesses that most Nekroz players are running, or if your opponent is running things like shared art, even if I set it, I can still force out the Trish, or Typhoon the spell, what have you. It wasn't completely bad against them, but it would definitely be potentially sided out. I probably would have kept it in, actually, because of emptiness, assuming that we didn't side out Jin emptiness prep. So, yeah, definitely should be running this in here. And then, what else? 6 spells, Double Rhoda, Book, Darkhole, Geki as my Jin outs. I chose to run these over Eclipse as, in addition to being Jin outs, because I wasn't expecting people to be playing Gungnir if I ever played the Mirror, which didn't happen. These things actually deal with El Shadow Anoya Lilith. I don't know her name properly. I just know she's the water bitch. And unlike, Eclipse also deals with her, but the problem with Eclipse is that Shadows will just chain L Shadow Fusion to it and then bring out a construct or worse, a Shekinaga, which is also a problem to deal with, whereas these things just kill the damn thing. Sure, they get their fusion spell back anyway, but at least I don't have to deal with the water dude, which they only probably run one of, nor do I have to deal with them chaining into... it also allows me to deal with Shekinaga, because Eclipse is a horrible out to Shekinaga. When prepped because it's stupid, and then I decided to main deck the Emptiness, which I never saw. Might have been because I was at 41 cards. To be perfectly honest, I didn't actually mind having the 41 deck count. It never really bothered me. The only time I bricked was when I just opened with combo piece A and combo piece A and combo piece A and not B. Or I opened, no. And the time where I opened Jin, Colossus, MST, Decree against Teller Knights who happened to have MST for my Decree anyway, so I was screwed. For the extra deck, I ran one level 12, Divine Neos, 111, 2 Heralds, Karen Gorgon, Castel, Diamond Dire, Digustel, Exciton, Cowboy, Chain, Rhapsody, and then I decided to be a little bit cheeky on the grounds of I expected to see a lot of Shadows at this regional, so I decided to run Ptolemaios so that I can go into Diamond over the Abyss Dweller, as the only things I was using Dweller against were Dolls and BA anyway, and Ptolemaios and, or rather Diamond, could stop any of those, and it would also just prevent certain decks from like doing other things, like the one chance of against Lightsworn, then they can't mill. The only time I really went into this, it kind of cost me the game because I did not go for the Laughable Chain so I could Jin lock, and my doll opponent was just like stick chair, and I'm like, well, my shit's getting pushed in. And then finally a Zubaba General just as a note to towers, because Klee were present and they run towers, and I'm not running Decisive Armor, so I don't really have that many ways to deal with towers because it's kind of a strong card. So for sideboard, I ran 5 hands. They were actually quite excellent, good against Rogue, and they were good against most of the meta decks too. They're only really bad against Nekroz and Shadows to some extent, but Firehand can out Water Bitch, so that's nice. 2 Lance AF in the Mirror, never played them. 1 copy of Swordmaster for Shadows and Teller Knights, so I could get around Water Dude and Spell Fragrance respectively. Didn't get to this though in time against Teller Knights, as I never had Brio during any of the games where that thing was flipped on me, and I could not get to Brio because Manju and Senju kept getting Phoenix Chained, which was annoying, and they kept bouncing it with Triver. 1 copy of MST, since I was only running the 2. 1 copy of Galaxy Cyclone. I was running Twist to begin with, but I figured I might as well just give this a shot and see how it worked. It was adequate. I hit a face down in my second Teller Knight mirror, what the hell? I hit a face down against my second Teller Knight opponent, and in my final round, game 3 against Volcanics, I had opened with a hand allowed me to go for a Lava Ball Chain, and just combo, but I didn't have very many cards in hand, or any that could actually deal with like Volcanics back row, so I just dumped this so I could kill something later on, be it a Vanity's Emptiness or Anti-Spell Fragrance, something that he'd be using to floodgate me. It turns out it was just a Phoenix Chain, because I just needed my attacks to go through. 2 Shared Ride, and 3 Decree. As for the tournament itself, it was a smaller turnout than before, 50 people, so if you went X2, you pretty much were not going to top unless you had some really good tiebreakers. LOL, I didn't. Let's see, my round 1 was against some new guy playing spellcasters. Like, he summoned Defender the Magical Warrior and did nothing else, and I savaged him. However, after the game was when things got really interesting, as when we were unsiding and talking about some cards, I saw in his deck a D-Mock. He was actually playing D-Mock, so that happened. He never dropped against me, but I'm like, what is that doing in there? That thing's banned. He's like, what? Why? It's not that powerful. To which I and like one other person were like, what? Did you just hear that? So first off, I had to tell him that no, D-Mock is in fact really stupid good and is definitely ban-worthy as is. And then I told him, you need to go talk to the judges right now, because the next person you play against, if they see that thing, they're going to probably try and shark you out of a win. And that's not good. So yeah, that happened. That was the only really strange thing of the day. And then, let's see, round 2, I was paired up against Shadows and against actually the same guy that was playing Blue Eyes Dragon Rulers at the Regina Regionals in 2013, and he smashed to me then. Combination of just having a stronger hand to my really bad hand, and in game 2 he had return. This time, I smashed him, sort of, as I opened Jin Lock, like I raw drew the Jin both games, so I Jin Locked him, and had protection for it, and just drew stronger while he didn't draw very well. Like, he had, I think, a stick and some combo plays, but like he didn't draw normal fusion, and he wasn't able to use L Shadow Fusion. He drew like Rikeki a turn too late because I searched Gungnir the first game as I set up a play where I could Jin Lock with Gungnir and just keep it up. So yeah, that kind of happened. Hopefully the next time we play, we'll actually have a real fair game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where none of us doesn't have like a bullshit hand and the other one doesn't have a stupid hand. Next round I was paired up against Tellarknights, and long story short, Anti-Spell Fragrance, couldn't clear it, so I lost. So that happened. Round 4, I was up against another Tellarknight player. He was actually the guy whose place we were staying at for the regionals. Shout outs to Jordan. Your family is OP. You guys are awesome. And he was playing Tellarknights 2. He won game 1 as I just couldn't really get my shit going. Phoenix Chain, Call to Haunt hits, Triver looping. Game 2, I eventually get a Trishula to go off and take it from there. And then game 3, it's a grind. We go back and forth. He's setting monsters. I have to wait a while before I can summon something that can beat over what I felt was a Vega, and it was. And he's trying to set up a hand where he'll be able to kill me through Valk, which he definitely could have given what I had in hand, except for the fact that when he Mindcrashed the Valk, he saw that I had double Valor, and he knew right then and there he had lost because I would have been able to stop what he was going for. So that happened. Round 5, I was paired up against another doll player. This was one of the undefeateds, actually. I think he finished the tournament undefeated and got first. Game 1, I opened really well to his Mathematician and nothing else. He had a Valor for Trish, which was to be expected, and he had a Valor for my Senju as well, but that meant I was actually able to go into a rank 4 play and just go for the Jin Lock, except I don't. I think to myself, well, he's playing dolls, so instead of going for a Jin Lock and hoping to ride out to victory, I'm just going to go into Diamond, as it would be really strong against him. Let's actually do that and see how it pans out. And what does he do? Stick, chair, and eventually kills me in a couple turns because I just couldn't recover in time. And then in the second game, I open with a fire hand, and I'm like, this is not exactly a strong hand. Guess I'll pass. And ended up going with Winda and Thunder King. Like, well, I lost that one, so I was that. And then my final round was against Volcanics, against a guy who, I'm going to be perfectly honest, was not all that good. Like, he never played against Nekroz before, I guess, so he had to learn what my cards did. I crushed him game 1 because I was playing Nekroz and he was playing Volcanics. I trished away his scatter shots, and once you banish one scatter shot, or just once you're able to deal with that thing, you win. Game 2, he flipped Iron Wall on me, so I lost, and then game 3, I had hands, and I won. Like, I had hands in Decree, so I won that one. And then that was it. I ended up finishing 11th, which was just short of the top. The top cut, I don't remember that well. It was pretty much everything you would expect. Dolls, Nekroz, I think Tellers. Yeah, Tellers were playing in top cut. One of the other guys from Regina actually did manage the top. He was playing Dolls too, which was actually funny as he hadn't actually played Yu-Gi-Oh! In a couple of years. And he went into time every single round, and he got, I think, 2 or 3 ties. So he ended up finishing XOX, which was crazy. And that's really all I can say about the tournament itself. Things happened after the tournament. Went out for supper, went back to Jordan's place where we played Cube, Battle Box, Team Cube, and other things. And then the following day, went over to Galaxy Games where they had a wonderful selection of cards. Winnipeg has amazing stores, Fusion and Galaxy, shoutouts to both. And then we ended up coming back here Freak snowstorm happened along the way, but here we are, safe and sound, and that's really it. As for what's coming up now, let's see. I picked up a UA core, so I'll try and build that deck because for some reason I feel like I want to. I will try and build Heroic Beasts, and as far as this deck goes, competitively, I'm probably going to retire it, but for casual play, there is a build I want to try out, and that's a Nekroz to Sophia deck, because I picked up a playset of Sophia because everyone kept pulling the damn thing. I'm like, you know what? I will take those off of you. I didn't actually buy very many of them. I actually didn't buy any because I refused to pay more than $4 for the card because it's not a $10 card. Once Sophia becomes super cheap, you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to collect that thing. I'm going to make a binder of Sophia just like I've done with North Memco. So I'll have like 3 ritual collections. North Memco, Sophia, and Ritual Monsters. And by the way, for those wondering how that Ritual collection is coming along, I picked up more cards for it. I picked up a Novox Prayer to go with the Skull Guardian I now have. I found a Chuchalain the Awakened. Unfortunately, it's first unlimited, so I gotta upgrade that. And I found the Doriato's Blessing. I needed to go with my Ultimate Rare Doriato Elemental Mistress, which was quite nice. And I now have the Nekroz of Sophia to go with that collection too. So the blue card collection is growing, and there will be at some point a silly version of Nekroz coming up where I'll be playing Sophia, Catastor, Decisive, Exa. And I just want to troll one person once by going, oh, you're playing Infernoids, and you set up a nice graveyard. I'm going to just Sophia all of that. LOL. That's all I got for that. Stay tuned for later this week. I'll be uploading a deck profile of Clownblade. You guys have been wanting to see it. And that's all I got to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'm sorry for not being all that active. I've just been, I've been busy, but I'm still here. And that's all I really got to say in here. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Until the next time, this is Blue Star 99, jacking out.